Alright guys, welcome back to my first video. I'm going to be making a long part tutorial series on learning scripting and completing your first game in Roblox Studio. So let's get started. When it comes to learning scripting, you should start out with the basics. We're going to first start out with learning Studio and getting used to it. Over here we have the Explorer. Below that we have the properties. The Explorer allows you to see and manipulate objects inside of Studio. There's different types of objects that you can click on and interact with. Properties allow you to change their properties, such as the position, primary part, or orientation. The properties in Explorer are basic and very important parts of Roblox Studio, even at high level. To make a part in Roblox Studio, which is the building block to everything, you click Home and the first button, top left, Part. From here, you can use the Select, Move, Scale, Rotate, and Transform tool to manipulate your part. What I'm going to be showing you today is how you can manipulate a part in code. So before we get to all of that, we're going to start out by making a script in server script service. I'm going to name this basics. Start out with the basic code. Print hello world. Go to script in the top and click output. The output is sort of like a way to read everything that's happening in your game and is very important for addressing errors. The basic statement print, parentheses, and then inside is incredibly important for debugging. We're going to start off by just the basic print hello world, and you can see upon starting the game, you see hello world inside the output. This is an incredibly important building block, so make sure to get familiar with it. Next, we're going to be building on the past step. Type local variable is equal to 10. What this is creating a variable that's equal to 10. This is how you make variables inside of Roblox. Local name of variable is equal to, and then whatever you want it to be equal to. This doesn't have to be 10. This could be tomato. This could be pie. Now it's going to be 10. Now inside our print statement, instead of this, we're now going to be exchanging it with variable. So now it's going to define a variable that is equal to 10 and then put it in the output. So upon starting the game, we see in the output 10. This is already important, will be used in future events. Now that we've gotten basics like variables and printing out of the way, we're going to move on to manipulating parts. First, we're going to create a part in Studio. You can name this anything you want. I'm going to be naming mine test part. Alright, now that we have this part, we're going to be manipulating it and changing it through size. First off, let's go back into the code. We're going to first be creating a variable around the part. Local part is equal to game.workspace.testPart. Now what this is doing is creating a variable that we will be calling part that is simply the entire game, so everything inside the workspace, and then inside the workspace the actual part we have. So now we have this part. To verify, we're going to have print and then part.name. So this should do is it should print test part. It's printing the part's name. And you can see it's printing out test part fine in the output. We're going to start off with something simple, altering the values down here. For example, transparency. Anything you see here can be changed by simply doing the name of your variable or part, dot the thing you want to change, in this case transparency, and then setting it equal to a value. In this case, 0.5. Now when we start the game, the part is semi-transparent, which allows us to see through it like glass. Going back to our script, we're going to be changing more than just the transparency. What we're going to be doing now is much more important. We're going to be changing the size in a loop. Now, loops in Roblox Studio usually consist of while, true, do. So while something is true, you're going to do this, which is an infinite loop. We're going to add wait, parentheses 1. What this is going to do is wait 1 second before moving on in the code. After this, we're going to do part dot size is equal to part dot size times 2. Now what this is going to do is increase the part size by 2, and then wait a second and do it again. And by starting the game, you can see the part is slowly growing in size, duplicating each time. This is incredibly important for the future, and you can see that if we start out with the part smaller, it'll still keep growing. Every second it doubles in size. Now, well, this is fun to change your part size. We need to learn what vector 3s are. When it comes to talking about size, vector 3s are incredibly important. You can think of a vector 3 as what a part is pretty much. It shows the 3 most important things: the x, the y, and the z-axis, the height, the length, and the width. So instead we can do part.size is equal to vector3.new, so creating a new vector 3, and now we can set this vector 3 to any 3 numbers for the height, length, and width. In this case, 3, 3, 3. And now we're going to increase the weight to 10. So after waiting 10 seconds, the part is going to change size. You can see there that the part has changed size due to our code. Vector 3s are incredibly important for almost everything in Roblox, allowing you to manipulate parts and different things in the game. It's important for hitboxes, etc. Now that we have the basic vector 3s out of the way, we're going to learn some more functions and aspects of Roblox. We're going to delete everything inside the print. We're going to delete this line inside the print statement. And instead, we're going to take a look at the other test part properties. There's all kinds of things you can look at: size, position, orientation. And we're going to use these together. We're going to make a script. We're going to do part.size. If you remember, part.size is just the overall size of the part. We're going to set the part size equal to a new vector 3. If you remember from before, just the x, y, and z of the part. However, this time, we're going to set it to completely random using the math.random function. The math.random function does is return a number that is completely random. So we're going to create 3 new variables. Local1 is equal to math.random, local2 is equal to math.random, and local3 is equal to math.random. Inside these math.randoms, we're going to put the smallest and the largest possible random range. For example, 1 and 10. Now that we have these math.randoms, we can simply plug in the variables to this. What this will return is a completely random part size between 1 and 10 every 1 second. You can now see that the part is changing sizes every time we join the game. It's completely different. However, this is only changing the size once. What if we want the size to constantly be changing? Since we are creating the variables at the start of the code, it's only setting them once. However, if we put them inside the loop, it is now creating these variables every single second in a new way, reshaping them, which allows us to create new random numbers every single time that the code runs, which in this case is every second. If you're joining the game now, you'll see the part changing size every second, completely randomly. Alright guys, thanks for watching the video. If you enjoyed, I'll be releasing a part 2 shortly, hopefully in a couple days.